Secret House against Tokyo-based hip-hop art and culture conversations. You know me, Dez and Jet. We are here today to discuss some independent, underground, avant-garde, abstract, experimental hip-hop for y'all. Not necessarily meeting the criteria for all of those at
any given time, but
sometimes it's a useful distinction to make. We're just talking about how we talk about a lot of things that are not necessarily the new Tyler the Creator album. But we might get to that because I was feeling like it might be a way. I still haven't really listened to it, but I'm not really all that interested in listening to it. But you know,
I would guess that it is the best album to go to number one in 2024.
Okay, I don't know albums that go to number one.
Neither do I, but I feel like that's probably
I can agree with that.
Relatively safe bet.
Okay.
Because I think it's very good and it went to number one. So.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to tap in for real then. Damn.
I mean, we could do it if you guys want to do it, but there's also a couple albums that we need to do that we haven't done yet.
There are a lot of things I want to do.
The new Cavaliers dropping too.
Tyler, yeah.
In like 2 weeks. We'll see. Yeah, but shout out to our patrons, the Noname Book Club, Caltrops Press, Experimental Rap Podcast, Why do I have it here? I put it wrong. Oh,
Peace to
I thought I was doing it right.
Rap
I had
Podcast.
Rap Music Plug Podcast, Focus Hip Hop, State of the Game, Call Out Culture Podcast. Today we're back to discuss the new Nappy Nina and Swarvy collaborative album. It is called Nothing Is My Favorite Thing. 16 songs, 39 minutes. It came out on October 23rd, which is like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks almost, something like this. Yeah, and we've had it for actually a while now because Nappy Nina was kind enough to send us the album early. Amazing, tremendous, and it's actually been on repeat quite a bit for me. Before we go into that, I like to talk about how we're familiar with artists. Jen and I reviewed the Morning Dew project from Nappy Nina last year, and I think that was the first time that either of us clocked into her music. Nappy Nina is an MC, poet, rapper, artist from East Oakland. Hey, shout out to the town. And currently she's creating art out in Brooklyn and with the label Lucid House, which is a Brooklyn-based, all-black, mostly queer, artist-owned and operated label. We love that.
Shout out.
We support that. We're here for that. Glad to see that. And their label is a powerhouse of just tremendous artists. Yes. Pay attention, do the knowledge, link in the bio. And how do you know Nappy Nina? Is this your first time, Des?
Yeah, this is actually my first time, and I was so impressed by this album that I went back and listened to Morning Dew. Checked it out. I saw there was Cavalier was on it, and Mavi was on it.
She's also appeared on like a few things that you will have heard. I think she's on Innocent Country too, right?
Oh, really?
She's got a feature on there. She was on the More Mother Black Encyclopedia of the Air. She was on the Butcher Brown that we may or may not have reviewed.
We did not review it, but
3 years ago.
It was fire.
Which was also fire. She's been around.
I mean,
she's on the Naoya Yoshioka's new album, which is a friend of mine and Dez's. Yeah,
really? She's
someone
on Nao's album.
We interviewed now, like 2 years ago now. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Bring her through.
It's on YouTube.
Through.
Bring Now through?
Yeah, just kick it and shit. We'll fucking do an old Mega Late Show type of joint.
I have a feeling that certain individuals within the label might have an issue with that, but we'll figure it out.
She's cool though. She's
dope. She's dope.
All right, yeah, much love. How about Swarvy? Jet, how do you know Swarvy?
First time, I believe.
Are you serious?
I mean,
Swarvy?
I know the name.
Oh no,
I couldn't tell you specifically what Swarvy's
I thought you would be on that because Swarvy kind of comes out of that kind of beat scene, Los Angeles kind of beat scene movement as a kind of like a hip hop IDM type of producer who incorporates jazz and funk into their shit.
I know they have a joint on Being You Is Great, but I'm not tapped in.
I'm actually really surprised about that because
he's part of the group and the LA group. What's it called? The
Low End Cats?
Something Mind, right? No, I forget the name right now. But he plays the bass in them. He plays the bass in that group.
Oh, I don't know. It's like a Sam Gendel. Like I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
I was looking at because I've known of Swarvy for a long time. Swarvy has an album, Anti-Anxiety with and Swarvy is like I think he was born in Korea but grew up in Los Angeles.
Okay.
But yeah, hold on. So I've known Swarvy for like 10 years, maybe. I feel like I've known Swarvy for a long time. But when I looked at his age, the age is like 24. So that means that Swarvy has been one of the dopest out. It's like a child prodigy type. Is his real age?
He's 20 something right now.
I thought I googled it and it was like he's 24 years old because he was 21 2 years ago.
I saw an interview it was like a Japanese interview as well.
Okay.
it was like it came out like this month.
Okay.
And in the interview, he said he's like 30 something.
Okay, I was about to say because I was hella surprised by that when I googled it.
I mean, it says here December 2001, Christmas
22
Day.
years old, back in
born in Daegu.
Yeah, all right. So maybe I don't know, but you know, Swarvy has done a lot of work with a lot of artists. I think Swarvy's got work with like Zero, Low G, of course, and Swarvy is a tremendous beat maker, producer.
This is definitely a different
Composer.
Swarvy. This is a K-pop rapper named Swarvy where you've got on this.
Oh, word.
I think.
But how
from
come
Korea.
Nappy Nina is right there too, and then also
because it's putting multiple
all of
things
them together?
This is some AI
I
bullshit.
think some of these are different
Yo.
people. I think this is the algorithm fucking with us.
Because look, if you scroll through all the pictures, it's got all types of pictures from all projects.
Yeah, word.
Okay. So maybe Swarvy is Swarvy
I
black?
think it might be a
Swarvy's not
Nah, we gotta do the knowledge on that. That's
2020
fucked up.
Swarvy's not black.
He's
He's Asian.
produced a record.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, there's yeah. So
All right.
apologies to Swarvy because like
It's with the utmost
we were
respect.
fucked up.
This
Like, yeah,
mistake
He's
was
30
made.
something, right?
I don't know.
I believe so.
It's not necessarily important to the conversation. All I'm saying is that
I had your
Swarvy
back,
has been
Swarvy.
putting it down for a long time. I'm glad you guys cleared it up because, you know, as a music follower, like I don't necessarily tap into interviews. I don't necessarily look into where they come from. I usually get it from their music.
Right.
And because Swarvy is a producer, it's not like he's like, yo, shout out to being 12 years old, making the best album. You know, it's like you don't get that. So when I Googled and tried to do the math on it, it was just telling me the wrong thing. But anyways, they got together for this collaborative project. And you guys want to just go ahead and get into the shit?
Sure.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I can start it off if you know, I always talk a lot.
This is a proper LP, like a proper LP. You know, I enjoyed it from beginning to end. The cohesive feeling all the way through. You know, it never feels like it, you know, misses the mark or like overstays the welcome. All the production super clean and cut well, very well thought out. You know, Swarvy really did his thing with it, and yeah, man, like you can hear in the production, like the production is like very like almost like. All of the beats I felt like had a very specific emphasis on like, you know, like the bass line and stuff, you know. It kind of started from there, and then, you know, funk music, all that shit, you know, it all starts with the bass, right?
Yeah.
So I felt, you know, the production feels really funky, and obviously there's some influence from that in jazz music, right?
Jazzy and funky.
Yeah. And you can just hear that throughout the whole album, you know, just kind of that bounce, you know, you feel that bounce, you know, like
What?
in the drums are so clean, man, you know, it sound, I don't know if it was recorded live, but this shit just sounds like good, you know.
Swarvy is his music has always sounded professional grade, for lack of a better term, but I also do really enjoy the production on the album. Swarvy has a really incredible ability to kind of like mix hip hop, funk, and jazz in a way. Like his production almost leans into that kind of electronica vibe, but not by electronica I mean more towards like an IDM beat scene type of like random varied approaches to all types of electronic beat music, so to speak. But he manages to do that without ever sounding kind of like tropey or stale. This album is so funky at times, so jazzy at times, so bouncy at times, so hip hop, hippity hop at times, and couple that with Nappy Nina, who is a phenomenal
dope MC,
a phenomenal MC who has this kind of quality to her delivery and approach that you don't really find in a lot of other queer or female MCs in the space.
Nina,
like there's something really unique about her.
A lot of hats on this album. There's a lot of plates being kept in the air because, you know, you'll have the opening where it's almost feels like a freestyle cypher type, you know, spit it out the park, knock them out the box, Nina, knock them out the box type vibe, right?
Yeah.
And then it will turn into like some introspective, like real deep soulful type shit, and then it will be funny, you know, and like sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's like gentle, it's kind. There's like camaraderie that comes through, like
rap,
across
poetry,
rapping, poetry, just a real like the ability to just shift gears on the fly. Sometimes, you know, within one track
and feel effortless.
And feel effortless over like this really nice bed of production that like gives her a lot of room to play around in.
Right. And also just like content wise, there's just like little idiosyncratic things about Nappy Nina's work that I find interesting too. There's songs like Hit It Out the Park, which is kind of like a baseball type of analogy, as well as like Arm in the Rim. And it's kind of like a fun kind of queer tomboy aspect of you don't necessarily hear a lot of women MCs who are making those type of metaphors and analogies, but the way she does it, like, it's so natural and so much a part of like this larger scope of her personality on the album. It doesn't seem strange at all. Like, I'm not a baseball person, I'm not even like a basketball person, but the analogies that she's using for that are just interesting and not something that you really get anywhere else. But on top of that, like, one of my favorite things about Nappy Nina is that while there is obviously like this kind of a dense, deeper, and wide approach that all of the artists in Lucid House are making, nothing is really too on the nose about like, we're here, we're queer, we're black, pay attention to this. All of these things are kind of like the more interpersonal aspects that are layered into the music without it really being like a flag waved. It's just a very kind of natural approach that doesn't necessarily signal like an identitarian politics to get that approach too. It's also a big
part of like that real dope, cool, like, ultimately it's like some stylish shit, right? It's just like every facet of who Nappy Nina is comes through on the record, whether that is racial or sexual or identity, orientation, what have you. But it's also just like, this is me and I'm fucking dope for it.
Right.
And this is how I do me. And on one hand, I do think that there is like a kind of element of it where it's like, or the identitarian element where it's like, a big part of why this is dope is because it isn't just like another straight dude doing like straight dude raps about how I get hella bitches and I'm dope. Like, and I think that element is a part of it, and I do think it's real cool, and I think that's something that was really dope about Morning Dew as well. But it's like the whole album just actually has a genuine, like, realized sense of self to it, where it's just like, yo, this is why I'm one of the illest cats.
Well, listen to this song in particular, right? TSA, which is really, I think, to project into it, it seems like it's talking about her experiences that, she sees that TSA is black, so she's not going to get checked, so they're going to let her pass. But then she also considers that and gets instantly bitter when she thinks about how cannabis and its criminalization, or like the war on trees, or the larger war on drugs, but mostly about trees in this specific instance, is like how many black people have been locked up and how many people are smoking weed. Like, everybody everybody knows someone that grows, and there's like
everyone knows someone who's gone to jail for it.
There's like over 500,000 people working in the cannabis industry now, and since the war on drugs started, it's been something where like the crime rates have rose by several 100%. So I think it's like 700-800% of people have been like, it's the incarceration numbers have gone up that much.
American prisons with minor drug offenders, and then as soon as it becomes legalized, like, the ruling class are able to just entirely capitalize off it and further enrich themselves by opening fancy dispensaries over every country, like all over the country.
We look at like the Clinton administration as being like, they're the fucking Clintons, but they contributed to so many of the social ills that we're going. And it's like, nearly half of the people locked up right now are incarcerated for minor drug charges, multiple drug convictions, like 3 strikes law, and that super predator type of thing. So like that is a part of the album that is not preachy at all. It's just talking about her having this kind of like one-off experience passing through TSA, and how her identity feeds into this feeling that she's getting of not privilege, but all like a deep empathy for people who are going through this thing, because we all be smoking. And those type of songs on this album, and there's not like I don't know if there's necessarily a lot of songs that are really on the nose like that when it comes to it. Overall, it's just like really great music with themes and concepts, but that one is particularly powerful to me because the like the vision is so clear on that one. Like, you get exactly that, and it comes with a dose of social critique, so to speak. And that's what I really look for when I look to like Masai and Hair and a lot of people who are rocking like that, because they're creating music that has like, it's not like it's necessarily its own lane, but they're creating their own vehicles for this type of shit. And this album is so fucking good. Like, this is my biggest like thing that I was like, what the fuck? about this album is that we're getting it and it's like October. This would have been like album of the summer for me because it's so bright and colorful and vibrant.
Yeah, just
and
as Morning
good.
Dew was, yeah.
Thankfully, you know, for the first time in 150 years, we don't have any snow on Mount Fuji. So like global warming is keeping it pretty warm out here. And I'm still enjoying this album a lot, but it is such a fucking great album to just have on. And I think that while it's super dense and well considered, it's also extremely accessible to like some of the widest swaths of hip hop fans.
Listen, very, very enjoyable. Listen, like sonically.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's why I also really like it. Is probably that it's like right up my alley, accessible, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's an interesting like compare and contrast to the Obi-Wan in that respect, because on one hand, I think both of them are like albums where you have an artist who at their core is saying, I'm fucking ill and I'm really fucking cool with this shit. But at the same time, and you know, and they're both carving their own lane, they're both doing something very unique and different. But whereas the Obi-Wan is quite abrasive and difficult to wrap your head around sonically, to probe those depths and to get into the more deep and interesting critiques that Obi-Wan offers as an MC. Nappy Nina's kind of doing the opposite. A lot of it's like laid bare, and then if you want to probe deeper, it is also there. But the album's also just like you just throw it on. You can play it at a party. You can play it at a DJ set.
That last song, Sprouts, is like, it just sounds like some really dope kind of like mystical keys type of really incredible double, like not even double time, but like fast style rapping. It's you know, but it's like I'm gonna cop me a house and then, you know, all of my people could hang out. You know what I mean? Like that's like
exactly it.
Community. You know,
could
like,
definitely play this at the function. Like, you know, a few weeks ago, like you had a bunch of people come over and we all just kicked it in the living room for a little bit, had a couple drinks, listened to some music, talk shit, you know, did some rapping and like, this is exactly the kind of thing you could play at the function. Like,
for sure. Yeah. Now this album is, you know, my sister, both of my sisters, right? They always be like, it's almost like they've tied Wu-Tang to my personality and shit. Especially, you know, I'm 15 years old, come out as God Body and shit. Then my father is on that type of shit. They just think like, oh, when Young Mega's talking about hip hop music, he's talking about like a Wu-Tang type of variety. But this is the type of album that I could send to my sister Rolinda or my sister Ruby, and they're gonna be like, oh, okay. And they might not even get much out of it, but they will catch like kind of the catchiness, the vibe, and how it feels good, because it is really good. And Nina and Swarvy are a whole ass fucking
combo.
Yeah,
for real.
I'm not saying that like I want them to continue this type of project, because I think that Nina's artistry is going in a lot of different directions, and I'm excited to see what she comes up with next. But man, it's good to have. I feel like Swarvy hasn't been around for a couple years making music. I feel like the last album I heard was the Logi shit, Anti-Anxiety, and that was like 2018, 2019 maybe. So it's good to hear Swarvy back in the mix and still just dropping this, like, listen to this jazzy kind of
abundantly balling. Armed on a whim, arm in the rim. Karma been charging a limb.
Stacking up.
Fucking
stacking up.
And yo, that beat with Elucid.
Oh man,
bro.
Yeah. What is that? That was the
we will talk about Revelator. We are going to talk about Revelator.
That's on
that
the
is quickness. Quickness.
Yeah. Like this beat is.
Choose knowing over being known, dilapidated hometown grown. Type of homophones and zones, I be in on my own. This roam feel tight in my bones, mix fire and stone. Desire thrones, feeling like Jones. Get it, I'm gone. Picture the song.
There are a few other MC collaborators on this album, and also like a vocalists that are on this album. As I just said, Elucid of you know, super acclaim and fame and indie scene is on this, and both of them are bombing on this album, as well as there's a kind of like a spoken word joint from I believe Lauren Whitehead, and Nappy Nina herself was also a person that was doing a lot of spoken word poetry and competing, I think, in the Bay where they're at. Nim Sims, who is super dope. And really, for me, like, that's one element that I also tie into my kind of appreciation, adoration for Nappy Nina. There is like a Oakland type of ness to her. There's a Bay Area type of ness to her.
It's definitely
it be hella Westy in a lot of ways, and everybody know here that like I'm hella Westy, and you know you hear Nimson talking about the San Jose police chief cop pushing dope and all of these things. Like I was out there before we started. I was playing Hustler. I was playing some Bay Area. You know what I mean? Like hyphy era shit. Because I was out there from 2002 to 2008. You know, I was in San Jose, downtown San Jose, and of course we'd be in the city and we'd be in the town, and there's just something about the way this album has like those things that kind of remind me or signal to me a lot of the things that I love about the tradition of Bay Area type of art, like the nonchalance but the high level of talents is kind of really kind of wavy and different. But there's also like, because it is like one of the epicenters of the Black Panther Party, there's a deep tradition of like consciousness that's embedded into that.
Someone raps about that on the album.
Well, it's this joint that I'm talking about right here. And you know, they talking shit about big pharma and healthcare and just the material conditions that are dire and how they get, you know what I mean? So like that, like Goody Two Shoes has a singer named Kingsley Ibenichi. I forget how to I forget the last name, but
Kingsley
Ibenichi. It might be African. I'm not really, you know, I'm just a regular Hello Westy American cat, Pan-African black socialist myself, but you know, like
that's got to be Igbo, right? That's got to be
okay. And then we got Omakase, who has Messiah and Stats the Boss on it. So like, you know what I'm saying, Lucid House. And you know we out here in Japan.
I'm
break it down.
I'm always ready for a new Stasi record. Like some new Stasi Boss stuff. I don't know what happened with Desatisfaction. That was also a really dope group. You know, if Stas and Cat don't have problems or whatever, like I'd love to see another one of those albums. I'm always happy to see Stas the Boss on something. They're also present on Morning Dew, so I was very happy to kind of see that reflected element of that previous record, which I love a lot.
Hey, 2 knocks crash, now the bucket in the tailspin. Youngest trying to touch paper, they just hit the mailman. Sealed his envelope, the candlelight got popped up. Now the fam can't even cope. San Jose police chief got caught pushing dope.
Yeah, this album is great. It's one that I think that really rewards your re-listens, and I think it's one that really kind of it tickles your sensibilities. It makes you realize why certain choices were made. And I'm a big fan of this. Lift Off with the reverse drums is also one of my favorites on this. And Groundhog's Day, I'll be saying that wrong maybe my whole life. I've been saying Groundhog's Day, like, you know, even when I talk about the movie. But listen how this up-tempo
you pluralize
drummer.
it like attorneys general.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Yeah, but listen, like there's so many different vibes on this. This is more like an up-tempo jazz type of joint. And then when you let Nina is so nice with the bars, like so smooth and like she will bomb like a multi-syllable type of assonance run for all these bars, but because her flow is just so smooth in the first place, sometimes it might get past you that first time. You think, oh, this is kind of just fast and fluid, but like, hold on, here we go.
Nothing is no uniqueness, meet weakness on weekends. People with a peakers and reaches some secrets you need it, but have to push pretense at events break even.
Here we go.
They fed you the reason, no season, the seasons you leading are short. Treated like sport. I'm typing my lion retort. In times to resort on my portion. Discourse about this record.
At least she's coming in at different points in the meter as well. Yeah. Like it's not just like a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of count. Like it's like it's fucking that polyrhythm, that 3/4.
On my portion, discourse about this records and records they force, of course, to stretch up my voice.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like crazy.
When choices they slap, don't rejoice. Play you and play me like toy. Employ all our dreams and our stories. Noise is a choice of rejoicing, and for they destroy. Had to start over before, cause ain't nothing new at its core. Yet we explore, heavy is chore.
Crazy.
She's one of the best out, man. She's one of the illest out. Like I'm really, like I knew it was going to be dope because like I was like Swarvy. I mean, come on, Swarvy's amazing. And then it still kind of blew, it kind of blew my hair back, so to speak. Like I was really enjoying this one. Like Goody Two Shoes, that shit sounds kind of like a Dilla beat played by the Roots.
I mean, like, what's crazy is, Swarvy is signed to Stone's Throw, right?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I know he's put out music on Stone's Throw, but I think that's where Anti-Anxiety came through. Yeah.
I mean, Dilla's stuff. I mean, MF Doom's stuff is through Stone's Throw. Shout out my homie Surreal. I don't know if he's still working there, but shout out to him.
That's how Egon's getting. Egon's being sued by. But Egon is Rap Cats, but he was also working with you know, they're all homies of those crews and shit.
Yeah.
But he's being sued for multi-millions of dollars by Madlib. Get your money, Madlib. If you really, money, you know, let you know. Hopefully, all the truth comes to light. But real nasty shit.
Dang.
By a non-artist, you know what I mean? Because you know, also Egon also had like 30 books of Dooms,
a bunch of Dooms notebooks,
you know,
and
so
old materials and stuff. Was just keeping him.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, but listen to this beat done by Swarvy. I'm not sure if he got instrumental, musicians to come in on this and help it. But it sounds like a Dilla beat played by the Roots, right? Like. And if it's just him, it's just like,
bro. If it's just him, it's like, yo, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised because that's how talented Swarvy is.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about that other Korean cat that we seen on there, but you know what I mean? Like,
during that brief Googling where I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think that what you're saying is correct. Like,
He's
I definitely
34,
saw
by the
him
way.
like sat at
I'm tired of Jet, man.
multiple instruments. So I'm assuming this is a very talented multi-instrumentalist. I'm surprised I'm just like not tapped in like that because like it sounds like this is an artist who's very much been in the same lane that, you know, I very much involved myself in with that, you know, LA beat scene, brain feeder type shit, like, you know,
check out Perfectionist by him as well.
Project Moon Circle type shit. Like, it surprised me that that's passed me by.
It's like
got a lot
him and
of
like
dope
Devin
stuff.
Who and a lot of those cats.
I mean,
you know,
obviously,
like,
Devin Who, like,
He's got a lot of good stuff.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's give some of our favorite songs on the album, like High Key, Groundhog Day, Pocket Promises, TSA, Omakase.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta first just say that I don't hate any beat on this album. Like, I love them all, but to pick out the ones that super stood out to me, Come Up, like the beat switch on Come Up near the end. Woo. Arm in the Rim, Local Stop, Sprouts, Bread, Omakase, Groundhog Day, Pocket Promises, Out the Park, and Quickness.
Fuck, I finally managed to bully Mega into no longer saying 8 tracks every time he's like, yo, what's your favorite track? Now Dez is doing the same now.
Yo,
thing. I gotta bully you as well now.
There's 16 songs, that's half of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly, yeah. What's your favorite songs? Basically half the album.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously it's a great album, so that's fair. Favorites, probably like Groundhog Day, Crash Early, Arm in the Rim.
Flip to some charm, a victim in charge, down in double X large, restless jaws, trying to press the cards without them pressing pause.
Secret House, big love to all the patrons who supporting independent underground hip hop. Shouts out to our friends, you know, Noname Book Club, Caltrops Press, Extraordinary Rap Podcast, Call Out Culture, Caltrops Press, Focus Hip Hop. Recent happy birthday to OG Nick Marsh. I know it's his birthday. I hope all is going well
Peace to the
now.
Young Genius. Yep.
And you know,
we got
jump in the
Dano
Discord.
from State of the Game in the Discord now.
State of the Game,
this Discord be going off. I advise y'all to come in there. We do get into theory thicken sometimes, but a lot of times we be like, yo, what was the last great Dell album? It's real. It's dope in there, and we try to keep it calm
the
and civil.
little poll we had going today, where it was like favorite. Not quite underground, not quite mainstream, but like underrated cat that like is fucking ill. And we had like what
Dice Brown, Lord Have Mercy, and somebody else who I forget. But yeah, it's fun. It's nice.
Yeah, come
Shout out HipHop.
Yeah, shout out to all y'all. Secret House Against, Tokyo-based hip hop art and culture conversations. Hella left, hella black, hella fucking tired of the bullshit.
I ain't touching reborn, cause stuff is tough and it's cutting like I'm a witness. Anything I peep could be my business.